The crown of responsibility. The state of Sonaland had 60 assembly seats, and in an extraordinary wave of public trust, one single party won them all. Among the newly elected members were 5 retired IAS officers, 8 retired professors, 7 social scientists, 4 contractors, 6 engineers, 3 women social workers, 2 capitalists, and 25 men social workers. The people had spoken decisively, but now came the real challenge, choosing the right chief minister. The central government, though not directly in control, had to ensure that the state's leadership would be wise, stable, and honest. In New Delhi, the party high command gathered. The president wrote to the prime minister, "We must not see this as a prize of power. The state needs a guardian, not a ruler." The prime minister nodded in agreement and called for a meeting with senior advisors. Every possible name was brought up for discussion. The retired IAS officers had experience, but some were rigid and bureaucratic. The professors were intelligent but too idealistic to handle political pressure. The capitalists promised growth but carried the scent of self-interest. The contractors were energetic but tainted by suspicion. The social workers were loved by the people, yet not all of them had the firmness needed to govern. Amidst this sea of names, one person stood out, Mani. He wasn't loud, nor ambitious, but every report spoke of his integrity and calmness. Mani had been a simple social worker before entering politics. Born in a farmer's family, he had studied engineering but chose to dedicate his life to public service. He had a rare gift: he could listen. During his years as an MLA, Mani had quietly built schools in tribal areas, fought against illegal mining, encouraged women's self-help groups, and helped farmers sell their produce directly to markets. Wherever there was a problem, Mani was found sitting with the people, not above them. When the prime minister read the reports, he smiled and said, "A true leader doesn't command from a distance. Mani listens, that is why people follow him." After long deliberation, the decision was made. The central government would back Mani as chief minister. In the state capital, excitement filled the air. Crowds gathered outside the assembly, waiting for the announcement. Whispers flew, some expected a retired officer, others bet on a wealthy capitalist. The atmosphere grew tense. Finally, the party's general secretary stepped onto the stage and declared, "The central leadership has chosen a son of the soil, a servant of the people, Shri Mani, as your chief minister." The crowd roared with joy. But Mani, instead of celebrating, folded his hands in humility. In his first speech, he said, "I am not your ruler. I am your servant." A chief minister is not made by a party's choice or by central approval. He is made by the trust of the people. "I promise to remain answerable not to power, but to you." His term as chief minister began quietly but faced trials soon after. Contractors tried to pressure him for favors. Industrialists tempted him with lucrative offers. Bureaucrats resisted his reforms. Yet Mani remained unshaken. When floods devastated villages, he personally supervised relief camps, sharing meals with the displaced. When corruption scandals tried to tarnish his name, the people stood behind him, for they had seen his honesty with their own eyes. Gradually, Mani transformed Sonaland. Schools improved, healthcare reached rural corners, women gained opportunities, and farmers received fair prices. He encouraged transparency in government offices, making information public. Even opposition leaders, once critical, admitted, "Mani may be from another party, but he is a chief minister for everyone." Years later, when reporters asked him about his secret to leadership, Mani simply smiled and said, "Leadership is not about control, it is about care. Power is not a privilege, it is a duty." In time, Sonaland came to be known not for its wealth or industries, but for its good governance. The people learned that a true leader is not the one who shines in speeches but the one who works silently in service. The moral of Mani's story is clear: a chief minister's greatness lies not in authority or wealth, but in integrity, empathy, and vision. True leadership is an act of service, a crown worn with humility, not pride.